back to my channel. Today I will be continuing What If Naruto Was Raised by Jiraiya and Tsunade. And without further ado, let's get right into the video. Alright, so we open this part with like Naruto in his room, like just Naruto and Tsunade and Jiraiya are all kind of like in his room going over like a training schedule, stuff like that, like trying to find ways for Naruto to get stronger underneath the radar, basically. And as they're doing that, they kind of like all kind of pick up on the same thing, and they like all kind of start looking around at each other, like just trying to make sure that they all felt the same, like the same type of stuff. So, with all that being confirmed, they all they start pulling out kunai and junk, and Naruto tells Karin that maybe she should come into his room, and Karin, she shrugs her shoulders and she gets up and she goes in there and she's like, so what's going on? And Karin, although she didn't sense it originally, when she gets in the room with them, she does sense it. And like all at at one time, they all kind of just leave the house, and they when they leave the house, they see this dude on the roof, and it's he's just in a cloak, and Jiraiya asks him what do you want? And he's just standing there, and Tsunade tells him this isn't something that you want to do. And the dude says oh, he's just paying someone a visit, and he looks down at Naruto, and he starts laughing, and Naruto confused because he don't know this dude, but he don't know why he laughing. So yeah, but then he looks down and they see Naruto stepped on something, and at first when they looking down at it, they don't see it, and then they see it's a paper bomb type machine, he slid it underneath Naruto's foot as they was coming out the house type junk. So he tells Naruto that if he try to move, it's gonna blow off his foot, basically, making it impossible for him to ever become a shinobi. And the only other way that thing is coming off, because it wrapped around his foot, it has some machine, it has some things to wrap around his foot. So he was basically saying the only other way that thing's coming off is if you transform into the Nine Tails, in which the explosion will still hurt, but you'd probably still have your foot, who knows. And Jiraiya tells him, Jiraiya was who the hell sent you? And he was that doesn't matter, and he tries to disappear, but Tsunade tells Karin to do it, and Karin kind of slings out the chains from her chest, and she grabs the dude, and the dude wasn't prepared for that level of he wasn't prepared from that. He wasn't prepared for a girl to start slinging golden chains out of her chest, or chakra chains out of her chest. So, because he blocked a few, but he still got caught. So they Karin starts dragging him down, and he tries to throw a shuriken or something at Karin, but Tsunade kind of blocks it for her. And when she get a guy pulled in close enough for them to actually grab him, they grab him and restrain him, and Naruto is just standing there, and so Jiraiya tells him not to move, basically just don't move. And Naruto kind of gets a little irritated, and he's yeah, I kind of realized that I can't move, thanks for telling me that, thanks, that's it's nice. And Jiraiya was I'm gonna go get Jiraiya, not Jiraiya, I'm gonna go get I'm gonna go get Hiruzen and maybe a couple of bomb experts, maybe to see if they could do something. So Jiraiya, he disappears, moving at the fastest speed he possibly can, and he starts telling anybody that has any form of explosive, or any form of technical, any genius or any type of anything. He starts telling people if the Nine Tails basically has a bomb strapped to his foot, and if it goes off, he could possibly get angry, turn into the Nine Tails, and destroy the whole village. So it's either we get this off or risk the entire village being destroyed. So now it's gathering this massive crowd of people of different, with indifferent opinions, but knowing Naruto don't deserve to get his foot blown off, because he didn't really given he did do some wrong things, but not to get his foot blown off. He just got kicked out the academy. So some people do feel some type of merciful. mainly the shinobi people with like higher status. So you know, the lower people kind of looking up to the, you know, higher, and they, you know, feel some type of way. They feel like if they happy, they should be happy with Naruto. Anyway, so they like get there and they all trying to figure out what's going on. And Hiruzen get there, he see like, you know, the person, they got like the peel thing out of his mouth, so he couldn't kill himself. And like Hiruzen takes off his mask and he sees like, oh, like this person, like they'd never seen this person. But like one of the people in the crowd, they notice like, oh, that's like their son. So they run over there and they're like, hey, like where have you been? Like, you know, we haven't seen you in years. And Hiruzen starts putting the pieces together. And when Danzo arrives on like the scene to see like what's going on, he walks up to he starts walking up to Hiruzen, but then he sees like Hiruzen's look on his face turn even more sour than what it already was. And when he looks at like Danzo's like whole chest basically falls out his stomach. Like it fall, you know? So like he turns around trying to make it seem like, you know, he's just, you know, walking back. He tells some other people, you know, he's going to go get some equipment to try to help Naruto. But Hiruzen, he wasn't falling for that. So he tells like Kakashi, you know, everybody that's underneath him to stop Danzo. So that like everybody was confused at first, but then it's like seeing the look on Hiruzen's face, they instantly like just knowing that they can't do it like this, they have to follow this order. So they, you know, they get their little shinobi faces and they tell him like, Danzo, you can't, like, you can't move, like stop. And Hiruzen, like when Danzo gets caught and he stops, Hiruzen tells him like he thought he was slick. After I told you not to, you did it anyway. Like you completely disregarded my wishes. And Danzo turns around and he's like, I didn't appreciate the way that you came at me in the Hokage's office. So I decided to make a statement. And Hiruzen looks at him and was like, what was that statement? That, you know, you're a sick psychopath that doesn't care about your life or the life of anybody else's in the village? And he, like, Danzo laughs and he he starts telling him the statement is like, first off, it wasn't supposed to escalate this big. It was supposed to just, the Nine Tails is supposed to appear like an explosion, Nine Tails destruction, Naruto's death. The Nine Tails is now in the Anbu's hands. Ergo his hands. So like Hiruzen like tells him, so you were willing to risk the lives of everybody in the village for your own personal power craze? And like as he's saying this, everybody's look, like they kind of like start seeing Danzo for what he is, and they're not proud of what they stood behind all this time. So like Hiruzen tells him like he's just gonna order his execution, and Danzo tells him like, well, you're gonna have to like catch him first. And a whole bunch of like Anbu Black Ops members come out the trees and junk, and basically they start fighting. And like halfway through the fight, they see like an explosion go off in the distance, and they get like this overwhelming, like they feel like this overwhelming amount of chakra, like, but not any normal chakra. And when like the dust clears, they see like this small like little ball, like just a small like little red ball. And this is where I'm gonna end this part off. If y'all enjoyed the video, drop a like. If y'all enjoy my content, please subscribe. Anyway, this has been Shinobi. Peace.